Hello and welcome to Heartless Gaming. Today I'm making my very first top 5 video. This video is going to cover 5 dinosaurs that are fairly easy to tame and involve very little threat that you can tame in the very beginning. Just to give you a heads up, this isn't in any kind of specific order of priority or favoritism. These are just the 5 easy dinos that you can tame in the beginning. It's the Fiio Mia, the Dodo, the Dillo, the Parisors, and the Pakis. Now I'm going to cut to individual clips explaining how to tame them, or the easiest ways that I've found, along with their personal uses. Alright, let's go ahead and jump to the first one, which is going to be the Fiio Mia. And here we have our Fiio Mia. Look at this ugly guy. I like to call them prehistoric pigs, or even cows. Alright, to knock this puppy out, you know, it's just easier to use a bola. To be perfectly honest, use a bola. Because these guys are going to run. They're a true passive animal, which means they won't try to fight. They'll just run and run and run, and hopefully if you can keep up with them, that's great. If you get stuck on a rock, that's awesome. But too much effort. So you're going to want to use a bola. Alright, we got him caught. Now immediately take your club and aim for the face. Now, you're going to want to be prepared because depending on the level, he's probably going to break that bola before it's time to knock him out. So you might, if you have to, have another bola or two prepared depending on his level to rehook him again. And do exactly like I'm doing right now. Come on, let's go down. Let's go down. Oh, in this case it only took one, I guess because he's level 15. Alright, now he is a herbivore, so we're going to want to use just berries on him. A lot like the other herbivores, you're going to want to use Mejo berries. Mejo berries being the berry of choice, but any berry will do, including Amar, gosh, I can't think of any more at the moment. Tinto berries, any berries will do. And of course, if you need narcotics to keep him from waking up, use narcotics. Or narco berries, rather. But you shouldn't really have to use very much, because as you see, he's eating a lot more than his unconsciousness has fallen down. And so you might get a good head start. But what these are good for, one, they're decent pack animals for the beginning. I mean, if you don't have to wait for trikes or something a little bit bigger later on. But in the very beginning, a Fiio Mia works out pretty well, and they're easy to tame, as you're seeing right now in front of you. Look at this guy. Ugly, ugly, ugly. Also, by having this puppy, if you decide to dip into the farming scene, if you feed them stem berries, you'll get a ton of feces that you can use for fertilizer. I mean, it's a machine, I swear. Also, you don't need a saddle for them at any level for them to be useful as a pack animal, unless you want to ride it. Now, this big old dino in front of me, this is a Parisor. Again, I'm sure you've seen all the dinos I'm gonna list here on my video. But I just want to make sure everyone knows which one I'm referring to, in case they're not as familiar. This guy right here is also passive, just like the Fiio Mia. This guy will run, run, run if you attack him, or if anything attacks him, even a regular dino. And he is going to be faster than you, at least in the beginning. Now, I definitely recommend, unless you can get him stuck in some way, a bola to take this guy down, just like the Fiio Mia. Come on, come on, come on. Make sure he's going to be a little good spot in the open. There we go, he is caught. Then you immediately jump in with your club. You might want to carry extra clubs just for this reason. Just swing, 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 but be prepared. Sometimes that bola might break before you knock him out. If that happens, have another bola ready, maybe even two, just in case. And be switching to him real quick. Just like other herbivores, you're going to want to use berries on this guy as well. Mejo berries, of course, being a preference for what you can get early on. And narco berries to keep him unconscious. Now, you're probably going to need narco berries for this tame, for sure. Unless you want to give it a couple more whacks. Again, efficiency not being a very important part of this. But this guy here, he'll produce eggs you can use for kibble later on. but he'll also act as a decent traveling mount once you get the saddle. Look at that. You can get some decent speeds on him. Now, of course, you're always going to want to upgrade to a raptor or something a little speedier when you get the chance, but this is all about easy tames that you're going to be able to do from the very beginning. Alright, let's move on to our Dillo. Now, this guy is already aggroed on me, so this will make it easier. There's two ways you can actually tame this guy. The big thing is going to be how you go about knocking him out. One, you can use your fists. Sure, fists will work. You'll probably take some damage in the long run. And in the very beginning, when you first start on the server, you're probably going to die once or twice. I hate to say it. Other option is use your club. Now, you might have a better chance with that over your fists. But just for the sake of this video, I'm going to use a bola, which some people might argue would be an inefficient way to tame Dillo, and I can kind of agree. But we're just doing it for this case. Now, dodging the spit. Go and bola this guy. Now that he's immobilized, you want to stay out of his range, because he can still attack you. And just smack him in the head. Oops, a little closer. Couple good smacks to the head, and he should go down. Be ready to move in case that bullet breaks. There we go. Now he is down, or I guess she is down. Now, bullas eat meat. Preferably, you want to give them prime meat, because that's what they really enjoy the most. But any raw meat will do. Let's go ahead and put that on him. And of course, any narco berries in case it's needed. Now, just like with the Dodo, if his unconsciousness drops too quickly and you don't have any narcotics available, it's okay to smack him a couple times. They have a little bit more health. You know, we're not really concerned about his efficiency since we're just starting on the server. But again, just aim for the head and take a quick swing. Now, these guys should only need probably less than a stack of meat for most levels. I'd put maybe 2 stacks of meat on there just be safe. Now, the big benefit to these guys are, just like with the Dodos, the Dillo eggs can be used for kibble. Also eaten if you really choose, though they're not as good of a pick because they don't lay eggs as quickly as Dodos do. But the Dillo kibble is used for things like Doedicruses, Ankylosaurs, which kind of is an important dino when it comes to gathering resources. The other big benefit to these guys is you get a couple of them with you, and at least when it comes to early hunting, they can be pretty devastating to anything you're fighting, even other players. You might ramp up their speed so they can keep up with players if that's your plan is. But if it's against other dinos like raptors, other Dillos, maybe even Fiio Mia or Parisor, since their spit does that kind of slowing effect temporarily. But they make a good little beginner hunter. And so we move on to our Dodo. This little guy here you'll see all over the place, especially in the beaches along the coasts. To knock it out, it's very simple. You don't even need a weapon. Just walk up to it, start punching. Aim for the head, and if he starts going into water, just punch him back up on the land. Good punch will knock him back like this. Just only take a couple hits, and now he is down. Now, when it comes to taming a Dodo, they eat berries. So, preferably Mejo berries, but they'll take anything except for the stem berries and narcotics, of course. Let's go ahead and put those on there. Now, when it comes to a Dodo, you can actually do a couple things here. If his torpor starts to go down too far, you can always give him another little smack. As long as you're paying attention to his health bar, you don't want his health bar getting too low. And that'll keep him unconscious. When it comes to a Dodo, especially in the very beginning, it's not so important that you get a perfect tame. The level's not going to affect the type of eggs coming out of it. Of course, if you have narco berries, that's going to be your better choice overall. The big plus to these Dodos, though, is that they lay eggs. Now, eggs have two purposes for you. One, they act as a good supply of nourishment, and they lay eggs constantly. So if you have maybe 3 or 4 per person in your group, they're going to be laying eggs like crazy, and you'll have enough to probably sustain at least one person for each grouping just off the eggs. Second part is Dodo kibble, which is made from Dodo eggs, is one of the very first tiers of kibble. It's going to kind of lead to other dinos as they branches out. That along with Dillo eggs, which I'll explain when we reach the Dillos. But for one example, Pteranodon is actually the first one that comes to mind that uses the Dodo kibble. And that's a very important tame as you get further into it, because it gives you access pretty much to the entire island from one dino. But that there's our Dodo. Once this puppy's finished taming, I'll have to probably narc him up a little bit more. I'll have myself some eggs and a future for taming bigger animals. And finally, we have here our Paki. Now, the Paki, you can hear this guy coming a mile away. It's a very distinct sound. Listen to that. This guy will fight back, and he can do some decent damage, even knock you out if you're not prepared. You want to try to avoid his hits at all possible. So again, we're going to use our bullet this time, rather than risk ourselves. And we got him. The big thing about Pakis, though, compared to all the other dinos, is do not aim for the head. Aim for the body. The head has too much armor in it to do any kind of real torpor damage. Just swing, swing, swing. Come on. And he is down. Again, like other herbivores, you want to feed him berries. Major berries being, of course, my favorite and his. And narco berries keep him unconscious. God, he's worse than the Parisor. Anyways. The big benefit to a Paki, though, is one, it makes a decent mount, but the big plus is using it to knock out some dinosaurs, like Trikes, Stegos. Now, you could use bolas, you can use clubs, slingshots, trank arrows, but all those things tend to kind of take some resources. This guy, though, you hop on him and you do his charge, and his head charge will knock out a trike in, gosh, a couple hits, as long as you land him on the head. And even in some cases, not even the head, hit him in the body. It's really easy to kind of maneuver around these bigger dinos and just hit him until they go down. You don't want to use his regular attack. That'll do a little bit of torpor damage, but not nearly as much as his actual charge. Poor guy. Alright, and this is the final of my 5 dinos that I recommend taming that are fairly easy, not so dangerous, but very useful when you first start on a server. And that is my 5 favorite dinos that I think anyone should be able to use when they first start on the server. Now, again, I know there's some better alternatives out there later on, and if you want to take more of a risk, like raptors and such. But for right now, starting off on a server, you don't have a whole lot to invest, risk, or use. These are the best ways to get and the best kinds to get. Alright, if you guys like this, feel free to show it down in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know that you want more of these types of videos, and I'll definitely do some more. Also, don't be afraid to catch me whenever I'm streaming, every day from 5 to 8 Central Standard Time. Alright, I'll see you guys then.